What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 12 Thanksgiving Showdown.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
Okay, in this video, I'm going to give you my top DFS picks for this Thanksgiving football showdown between the Washington football team and the Dallas Cowboys.
And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made.
Okay guys, let's take a look at this Thanksgiving showdown between the Washington football team and the Dallas Cowboys. So at the quarterback position, I like Alex Smith from the Washington football team. He scored 9, 19, and 17 fantasy points in the last 3 games. Projected at 15.2 fantasy points here on Thanksgiving. He's 9,800 DraftKings salary. And Vegas think there's going to be 46 points scored in this game, with the Washington football team trailing by 3. So he's got the better matchup by far here. He's only a couple $100 more than Andy Dalton. Fantastic matchup and a passing game script. I would just rather trust Alex Smith over Andy Dalton, who doesn't have a great matchup here versus the Washington football team, who have a good defense overall, and they've been pretty good versus opposing quarterbacks. So because of this fantastic matchup, and you're only paying $200 more, I like Alex Smith here versus the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. This is my favorite player on this showdown slate. I like Ezekiel Elliott from the Dallas Cowboys, who's averaged 17.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 17.1 rush attempts per game and 5.1 pass targets per game. He scored 22 fantasy points last week off of 21 rush attempts and 2 pass targets. He's projected at 16.3 fantasy points here on Thanksgiving, and he's 10,600 DraftKings salary. So although Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissic have a much better matchup here, Ezekiel Elliott is only 400 more than Antonio Gibson. So I'm going to play Ezekiel Elliott over Antonio Gibson here. I like the momentum that Zeke built last week with those 23 touches. I think he builds on that momentum here on Thanksgiving. So I like Ezekiel Elliott here versus the Washington football team. And if you're looking to save a little salary at the running back position, take a look at J.D. McKissic from the Washington football team, who's averaged 10.2 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 10, 18, and 17 fantasy points in the last 3 games. Now, he hasn't been getting a ton of rush attempts, only 6, 8, and 3 rush attempts in those games. But take a look at his pass targets. He got 4, 15, and 14 pass targets in the last 3 games. And he's got a fantastic matchup here versus the Dallas Cowboys. He's projected at 11.4 fantasy points here on Thanksgiving, and he's only 7,000 DraftKings salary. So if you're going to play 2 running backs in your lineup, I would play Ezekiel Elliott and J.D. McKissic. I just love this matchup, and you're going to save some salary with this pick. So I like J.D. McKissic here versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. If you're looking to save some salary here at the wide receiver position, take a look at Michael Gallup from the Dallas Cowboys playing the Washington football team, who have a good defense overall, and they've been good versus opposing wide receivers, but Michael Gallup has scored 5, 7, and 13 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 5, 7, and 12 pass targets. He's projected at 9.9 fantasy points here on Thanksgiving, and he's only $3,400 DraftKings salary. So this is one of those low salary plays that's going to open up your lineup for the other players, and he's going to make your lineup different and unique, and that's what you need in these showdowns. So I like Michael Gallup here versus the Washington football team. Now, if you're looking for a long shot sleeper pick, low salary pick, high risk, high reward, take a look at Steven Sims Jr. from the Washington football team playing the Dallas Cowboys, who have the 3rd worst defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. So we know everyone's going to be playing Terry McLaurin, who is a little banged up, but it looks like he practiced in full and he's going to be good to go. But there's going to be some opportunities for these other Washington football wide receivers. Steven Sims, he scored 10 and 10 fantasy points in the last 2 games off of 3 and 6 pass targets. He's projected at 6.1 fantasy points here on Thanksgiving, and he's only $2,800 DraftKings salary. So he's got a fantastic matchup here. The Washington football team, Vegas thinks they're going to be trailing by 3, so it's going to be a passing game script. So if you're looking for a high risk, high reward sleeper pick, take a look at Steven Sims Jr. here versus the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. You really only have a couple choices here at the tight end position. I like Dalton Schultz from the Dallas Cowboys. He's averaged 9.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.1 pass targets per game. He scored 13, 9, and 11 fantasy points in the last 3 games, projected at 7.9 fantasy points here on Thanksgiving, and he's $6,200 DraftKings salary. So he's got a pretty good matchup. The Washington football team gives up the 10th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. So I like Dalton Schultz here versus the Washington football team. And if you're looking to save a little bit of salary at the tight end position, take a look at Logan Thomas from the Washington football team playing the Dallas Cowboys, who have the 3rd worst defense overall, and they give up the 12th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Logan Thomas has averaged 7.9 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.6 pass targets per game. So that's pretty good volume. He got 5, 6, and 6 pass targets in the last 3 games, projected at 8.4 fantasy points here on Thanksgiving. He's $5,400 DraftKings salary. So a great matchup versus the Cowboys. So I like Logan Thomas here versus the Dallas Cowboys.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.